Gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. Week 3 is in the books. We had a lot, and I do mean a lot of tosses and turns throughout week 3 in college football, and especially the game that I am about to cover between the Georgia Bulldogs and those mighty Tennessee Volunteers. This game had so many turns. Tennessee, they had a chance to win this game, and a lot of people say that they should have won this game because they started out with a 21-7 lead, but they relinquished the lead, and Georgia, they got the ball back in the second half and pretty much just scored every time they had the ball, no matter what. So, the statistics in this game: Joey Aguilar, 24 of 36, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Those 2 interceptions, they proved costly. Gunnar Stockton, 23 of 31, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The Russian attack for the Georgia Bulldogs had almost 200 yards. Like I always say, it is very complimentary when you have a quarterback that throws for over 300 yards and you have a running game that runs almost for 200 yards. So that was almost complete. That was almost balanced there. For Tennessee, you had a 125 yards in the run game, which is not much. It is not much to the level of efficiency that the Georgia Bulldogs were running the ball at. And Tennessee, we've said this for years and years. Is this the year that Tennessee becomes a powerhouse? Is this the year that Tennessee can beat Georgia? Obviously, both of those questions were answered on Saturday, and both of those questions were no. Now, I'm going to show y'all a few plays in this game where the momentum shifted from the Tennessee sideline to the Georgia Bulldogs sideline. But obviously, the defense for both teams were pretty much, they had a tough day because the defense for the Bulldogs earlier in the game, they could not stop anything that Joey Aguilar was doing. And then the Volunteers in the second half couldn't stop anything that Gunnar Stockton and the Georgia Bulldogs were doing. Now, here is a few sequences in the game where I really focused on. Now, in this game, in this game right here, this is a third and well, this is the previous play before. So this is 2nd and 7. So as you see right here, 2nd and 5, 24-yard line. Joey Aguilar back to pass. He throws for a first down. Now, this is the point in the game. This is late in the first quarter. Tennessee has the momentum. They're going in for a touchdown. Joey Aguilar back to pass, throws touchdown, and they're up 21-7. Now, I'm going to stop it right here. So 21-7. And you know what I'm saying? Chris Brazil the third scored that touchdown. So what I'm saying right here, you're up 21-7. Russian attack, it really wasn't effective once the game started. Now, I know that this is the Georgia Bulldogs defense, but the Georgia Bulldog defense, their secondary isn't top notch like it once was. It wasn't. Now, this is just one of the plays that I had a problem with. Now, this next sequence, 3rd and 12 for the Tennessee Volunteers. Do y'all see this? If this was any other team, they wouldn't have let a 4th down and 3 happen. Now, you see 4th down and 3, Tennessee's defense allowed Georgia to convert on 4th down and 3. Also, 3rd and 7. This is the same drive. 3rd and 7. The Georgia Bulldogs get a touchdown. So in a span of just in a span of just 4 minutes, the game went from almost to a blowout for Tennessee to Georgia making it close. Now, I believe this is where the momentum shifted in this game because Georgia, before they scored that touchdown, Tennessee had the ball. They had a 3-and-out. They did. They had three and outs in the second quarter. Now, that's another that this was their second 3-and-out for Tennessee. So Georgia gets the ball back. Now I'm gonna show y'all how this Tennessee defense did not do anything in the second. Second and 15, Georgia. And you see where second and 15, they give up almost a first down. Now Tennessee gets the ball back. Joey Aguilar back to pass, throws, caught, but you see where they're still stuck at 21. They're still stuck at 21 right here. Third down offense for Tennessee. This is where it started to get a little iffy. You see, third down and 7. Good pass. Wasn't able to make someone miss. Gunnar Stockton back to and a first down. So in this sequence, they went scoreless in this second quarter. Tennessee went scoreless, and that is where basically the Georgia Bulldogs, they won the game because right here, I said that if Georgia scores a touchdown, then this game is pretty much in their hands. Which, well, they didn't score a touchdown right there on second and goal. Third and goal. This is the third down defense I was talking about. Do y'all see this? Well, Georgia didn't score right there, but fourth down, I was not surprised that they didn't go for it because it's still early in the game. Now, this was the first half. Now, let me get to the fourth quarter because that's what everybody wants to see. The fourth quarter in this game. Fourth quarter, Tennessee had a little bit of urgency in the fourth quarter. They scored a touchdown, and now it is 35 to 30. So now this is the perfect sequence right here. Third down and 14. If I'm the Tennessee defense, I am emphasizing I'm going to put a quarterback spy on Gunnar Stockton because he has killed me running the ball throughout this game. And also, I got to put somebody on Zachariah Branch. I might have to double Zachariah Branch. Now, this was one third down where I kind of had a problem with the way that Tennessee's defense is set. Why is it that you're not up on these players? Because you see this guy right here, he is focused on this guy. This guy is focused on this guy, and that guy is focused on Zachariah Branch. That's who these three are. And then you have this one guy right here. This is 13 personnel. For all of you who don't know 13 personnel, you have 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end. Now this guy, he's focused on the quarterback, but this is his destination. This is his focus right here. Now, you see this play right here. Gonna stop them back to pass, pressure, fumble. See, this is where the Tennessee Volunteers, this is where I thought the Tennessee Volunteers had this game. They had the fumble, but when you get to the point where they really didn't do much on offense after with this, because you see that they kick a field goal and there's only 6 minutes and 40 seconds left in this game. So 6 minutes, 40 seconds left. Now, this right here is basically the game. Gonna stop them back to pass. Georgia didn't get nothing on this first down and 10. You go back to second down. You go to second down. You go to third and 7. Tennessee could have got off the field there, but lack of defensive prowess. This is 4th and 6. So this is basically the game right here. If I'm Tennessee, I'm bringing a blitz. I'm bringing everybody and pretty much leaving everybody one-on-one. Because you see, everybody was just jam-packed right here. You had these two guys focus on Zachariah Branch, and then this guy was basically one-on-one with this guy. And then you see where they didn't get enough pressure, and then all of a sudden, Georgia scores a touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion, and then all of a sudden, they started to get tight in this game. They did. They started to get tight. Now, Tennessee, this is where I had trouble with Tennessee. 3rd and 8. Now, they did get this first down on 3rd and 8. They did. The first down. And now you have the ball at the 48. Here's another play. You have the ball at the 48. You get it in field goal range. After a 5-yard run, you get it in field goal range. And then all of a sudden, now this is the play right here, 3rd and 4. 3rd and 4, you get the first down and you're in field goal range. Now you're at the 32-yard line. 32-yard line, and you could get maybe 5-10 more yards to get a quality field goal. This was 3rd down. Well, that was 2nd down. This is 3rd and 10 after a penalty. So that penalty, it messed up everything. That penalty messed up everything. That is why if you are on the offense, you have got to stay still. Offensive line, you pretty much messed this game up for the Volunteers. And as you can see, instead of a 38-yard field goal and him making it, he had to try a 43-yard field goal, and he ended up missing it. Now, the Volunteers had their chances at winning this game. They did. They had their chances at winning this game. They had their chances at here's the missed field goal in overtime. They had a chance to win it right here. They got it. But if they would have scored a touchdown and the defense would have stopped Georgia, they would have won the game. But see, this is where the game was pretty much over. You had the Georgia running back bake it all the way down to the 2-yard line, and it was pretty much game over after that. So when we look back at this game, we see where a team in Tennessee, they have so much expectations of knocking off top-notch teams like Georgia. But when it comes down to the last few minutes of the game, they can't execute. So when I go back to these statistics and team statistics overall, I see a team where for about a good, I would say, half a quarter and a half, for the Tennessee Volunteers, they couldn't do anything because 3rd down efficiency for the Tennessee Volunteers were 5 of 12, and the Georgia Bulldogs were slightly better at 8 of 17. Total yards, 502 yards. See, the Tennessee Volunteers, this is where they messed up at. How you gonna be a good defense and you give up over 500 yards of offense? I don't know what it is, but it seemed like throughout the entirety of this weekend, I have seen most of these defenses, whether it's college football or NFL, they gave up 300-400 yards, and they're supposed to be a top-notch defense. Now, I keep on telling everybody that. Week 2, week 3, whether you in college or the NFL, that is not the telltale sign of what your season is going to be. I always have said this. After the first 4 games of college football and NFL, you know what kind of team you have. You already know what kind of team you have. But as far as the Georgia Bulldogs, see, this is what Kirby Smart, this is what he takes pride in. He take pride in these fight it out, drag out games where his team has to monk it up and then keep it close and win it in the end. And that's exactly what the Georgia Bulldogs did. Now the Tennessee Volunteers, the rankings, you're not looking too good right now. And as far as, I don't even want to say college football playoff, but Tennessee Volunteers, they're thinking, most of their players are thinking about getting to the college football playoff. But you cannot lose top-notch games like this, not only to your SEC rival, but top-notch games as a whole. But the Tennessee Volunteers, they have a lot of more quality games on their schedule. They could possibly win those. They could. But it remains to be seen. Now, the next game I'm going to cover, and this was pretty much a blowout, but I just wanted to cover this game just to let people know that the South Florida Bulls, they are not on a powerhouse level. They are not on a powerhouse level, and you can see it right here. Miami Hurricanes dominated, eviscerated, whatever you want to call it. Use any kind of adjective you want with this game. I'm not going to show any highlights or clips of this game or sequences because this game was very one-sided. But Carson Beck, 23 of 28, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He got to improve on those interceptions because those interceptions could have had a different outcome in the game if this game was much closer than what it was. Byron Brown, 20 of 36, 274 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. One thing I can say about the South Florida Bulls, they are no slouch, but this game brought them back down to earth. And as I said in my reaction video Saturday night, right after this game, the South Florida Bulls got brought back down to earth. Now, can the South Florida Bulls make way and get back in the rankings and possibly get back into the college football playoff conversation? Maybe, maybe not. But I just want everybody to just, calm down the hypotheticals when we get to South Florida. Because South Florida, coming into the season, was a team that was on nobody's radar to be a top-notch powerhouse or a so-called powerhouse. I know that they won versus Boise State, but we got to look at their competition. Boise State, everybody on Boise State returned except Ashton Jeanty because he's in the NFL. Then you had the Florida Gators, a team that is undisciplined, uncoached, unmanaged. So both of those wins, they were by default. Now you play a team like the Miami Hurricanes that has a better offense than the previous 2 teams you played, and now all of a sudden you done ran into some trouble. Now the South Florida, I'm not saying that the South Florida Bulls won't be successful for the rest of the season, but it was just Saturday night they ran into a more superior team. That is all. Now, team statistics. 7 of 11 for the Hurricanes on 3rd down. 4th down efficiency, 1 of 1. For the South Florida Bulls, 7 of 19 on 3rd down. That is where they hurt themselves at. On 3rd down. If you have a bad efficiency rate on 3rd down, no matter whether it's college or pro, you will lose more times than not. And fourth down efficiency, 0 of 2 for the South Florida Bulls. Now, South Florida Bulls, when it comes to as far as competition, they can dominate people in their own conference. But when you start talking about the ACC and the SEC and playing against teams that are on the upper echelon of teams on when it comes to college football, South Florida Bulls, they gonna have trouble. They gonna have trouble defending teams like, I'm going to say, Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, or whoever is more suited or more formidable, has a formidable offense than the South Florida Bulls, they are going to have trouble. So South Florida Bulls, you have a lot of room for improvement. The Miami Hurricanes are 3-0. Now, there's one thing I want to say about the Miami Hurricanes. I said after week one, the ACC, as far as the ACC championship, Clemson, Florida State, possibly Florida State and Miami, but I got to change that now. I do, because Clemson, they lost to Georgia Tech, which is also in the ACC. So the three teams I got that is in the running for the ACC championship are, as of now, Miami, Florida State, and Georgia Tech. Those are the three teams, because Clemson, they're losing their fastball. I saw how Clemson was looking, and Clemson, they are not the kind of team that they once were. So it's either Miami, Florida State, or Georgia Tech that is coming out of the ACC, and y'all can book that here. Somebody please clip that for me. ACC championship teams that could win the championship: Miami, Florida State, and Georgia Tech. Now, the next game I am going to cover, and this was the Saturday night game, Texas A&M Aggies versus the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame, Notre Dame, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, you did not do yourself any favors in this matchup. Now, everybody, for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, the quarterback C.J. Carr played well, 20 of 32, 293 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Marcel Reed, 17 of 37, 360 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The rushing attack for both teams pretty much did the same thing. 136 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and Texas A&M 128 for the Aggies. Receiving, pretty much they did the same. One thing I can say is defense in this game was at a minimum. Defense was at a minimum. Now, I'm going to tell you all that Notre Dame Fighting Irish defense is losing their fastball. They lost their fastball Saturday night. There are quite a few plays. I'm going to just go ahead. Let's just shift right on over to the fourth quarter. So this is the sequence. Fourth quarter, 3rd and 7 for Notre Dame. 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter in this game. And at times, it was very critical plays that needed to be made. Either Notre Dame made them or Texas A&M made them. But Texas A&M made more plays down the stretch than Notre Dame. So I'm going to show y'all a few clips of this game. So right now we have 3rd and 7, Notre Dame, C.J. Carr back to pass, 3rd and 7. Now they get this first down. They go ahead and they get this first down. They score a touchdown. But they score a touchdown right here. But they missed the extra point. Well, they fumbled the snap. didn't even have a chance to get a good extra point and get a good look at it. But now I want to get to the defense of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And this is where I say the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they are slipping. They don't have any more teams on their schedule that are ranked. They don't have any quality wins on their schedule. Now you all see this 2nd and 7. Now if 2nd and 7, that shouldn't have happened if the Notre Dame Fighting Irish are supposed to be a top-notch defense. 2nd and 7, I can understand that you have a slant pattern and you give up, but look at this. You didn't have somebody to spy the quarterback. Now 3rd and 16. What do I always say about if you are a good defense, there is no way that you should be giving up a 3rd and 16, a 3rd and 14, or a 3rd and 20. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish did that quite a few times in this game. Right here, 3rd and 16. This is no different. Marcel Reed back to pass. He didn't get a first down, but they got a 13-yard gain on 3rd down. So it was a 4th down play. It was 4th and 3, excuse me. So 4th and 3, and then all of a sudden, everything just started to fall off the wheels for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. You had defensive penalties, and then all of a sudden, last few seconds of the game, it's 3rd and goal. 3rd down defense for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish was bad. And as you can see, 3rd and goal, you see Marcel Reed throws, touchdown. Well, not a touchdown. They called it back. 4th and goal. See, this is the money play right here. And all of a sudden, you give up a touchdown with 13 seconds left. Now, I picked Notre Dame to win this game. I was expecting the defense to do a whole lot more. And as you can see, the head coach for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Marcus Freeman, he didn't like that. If I'm the head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, I am questioning what my defensive coordinator called on this last play. Because somebody should have been doubling the tight end. I mean, 34. You're not really defending the pass. You're defending the player. See, this is why I always say, if you are a defensive coordinator, you are supposed to tell your guys to play the ball. Don't play the man, play the ball. Now, if you get in a situation where you are over pursuing the ball, then you play the man. But if you have a chance to make a play on the ball and get an interception and end the game, go on ahead and make a play on the ball, get an interception, and end the game. See, y'all see this? Notre Dame, they lost the game after the Aggies scored a touchdown. Now, Texas A&M, they were 16th coming into this game. Now they are in the top 10 right now. I want to say this future outlook. I'm going to say this future outlook for the Texas A&M Aggies. Where are the Aggies right now? See, Notre Dame has dropped to 24. The Texas A&M Aggies are 10. About the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The Notre Dame I'm going to show y'all their remaining schedule, because their remaining schedule, it's a favorable schedule, but they only have one quality win that they can get. One quality win, and that is the USC Trojans. Now, currently right now, they are ranked 25, but we are going to see whether they are ranked when they get to October 18th. Because Notre Dame, they are pretty much, their backs are against the wall as far as getting to the college football playoff. it pretty much took a hit after losing to Texas A&M. Now they lost to Miami, but that was the first game of the season. Everybody deserves a space of grace there. Everybody deserves a space of grace from the first game of the week, but you see the remaining schedule for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. You see they have Purdue, Arkansas, Boise State, NC State, Boston College, Navy, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Stanford. Now, they could end the season. They can pretty much go on a 10 game winning streak, get to the college football playoff. But like I said, it's the same situation that the Fighting Irish have been in over the last couple of years. Last season, they lost their second game to Northern Illinois University. And we see where the Fighting Irish ended up after that loss. They ended up going on an 11 game winning streak, getting to the college football playoff, and losing to the eventual champion Ohio State Buckeyes. Let's see if the Notre Dame Fighting Irish can do that same exact thing. Week 3 is in the books. I'm going to show y'all the current, and I do mean the current, college football playoff rankings. Now, as you can see, Ohio State is still number 1. There are a few new teams. Down at the bottom, there are a few new teams in this bunch. You got Georgia Tech at 18. You got Michigan at 21. Missouri, you got them at 22. Well, excuse me. You got Missouri at 23. You got Auburn at 22. And then you have USC at 25. Notre Dame dropped 16 spots. The biggest drop in college football rankings this season. 16. What else can we say? Notre Dame, you got to come on with the come on. Everything else, I am okay with this. I am okay with this rankings list. I am, because Ohio State did what they had to do. Penn State, they did what they had to do. LSU did what they had to do. Everybody from 1 to 6, I have no problem with. From 7 to 11, I have no problem with, because Florida State, they beat Alabama. Texas ain't looking too good. Arch Manning is up and down. UTEP. The Texas Longhorns was struggling with UTEP on Saturday. And I mean, it got to a point where the Texas crowd was booing Arch Manning. Now, I am on the record of saying this. Arch Manning, we got to see what he has on tape. He got to put more game film on tape before I can say, oh, Arch Manning is the guy. Now, I was not a part of that crowd coming into the season where, oh, Arch Manning is going to do this. Arch Manning is going to do that. I mean, the Texas Longhorns offense, it really, as far as their schedule, they really haven't wowed me at all. They really haven't, because you didn't play well against Ohio State. You beat San Jose State, which we all knew that was going to happen. And you beat UTEP. Now, you did struggle against UTEP. Now, coming down the stretch, the Texas Longhorns, they have quality games that they are going to have to play. They have Oklahoma. They have Vanderbilt. They have Georgia, and then they have Texas A&M, and all of those teams are currently ranked in the top 25. So, Texas Longhorns, they have a tough road ahead. But they did not look great. They have not looked great the last 3 weeks since the season started. So as of that is all I have to say. Here is the rankings heading into week 4 of the college football 2025 college football season. With that, those are my reactions to all of week 3 college football games. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and go follow the Key on millions.co. One last thing, everybody, I want to say, remember, the key is always on time.